Ever wake up, sip your coffee, and realize your neighborhood's less white picket fence and more Game of Thrones with better landscaping? That was my reality not long ago, when my quiet suburb turned into a battlefield, and I became the reluctant hero wielding a shovel instead of a sword. Say hello to Karen, Empress Karen, HOA president and self-appointed dictator of our cul-de-sac. Picture a woman with a perm tighter than her grip on power and a smirk that could sour lemonade. One crisp morning, she parked her shiny SUV right across my driveway, like she was claiming my house as her latest conquest. "Move it, Karen," I said. Her reply? A laugh that echoed, "Bow down, peasant." Now, most folks would have grumbled, maybe posted a rant on Nextdoor. Me? I decided to go big or go home. I didn't just push back. I dug a moat, the kind you'd see in a medieval blockbuster, and slapped a creaky drawbridge on top, locking her car in a suburban checkmate. And guess what? It was all legal, petty, and downright glorious. Buckle up, because this isn't your average neighbor's spat. It's the tale of how one driveway became the stage for an epic rebellion, complete with nosy neighbors, viral chaos, and a villain who learned you don't mess with a guy who knows his zoning laws. You're gonna love this ride. Let's set the scene. I'm Jake, your average dude in a sleepy suburb where the biggest drama should be whose dog pooped on whose lawn. My weekends were sacred, firing up the grill for burgers, tossing a football with the neighbor kids, and dodging HOA notices about my non-compliant porch light. Life was chill, until Karen rolled in like a storm cloud in Capri's. Karen wasn't just HOA president. She was a suburban Sauron, lording over us with a binder of bylaws thicker than a phone book. She'd measure your hedges with a laser, fine you if your garbage can was out past 7 a.m., and once sent a cease and desist because my buddy's pickup was too rustic for her aesthetic. The woman had a knack for turning molehills into mountains and neighbors into nervous wrecks. At first, I played nice. I waved, offered her my famous jalapeno poppers at the block party, even trimmed my lawn to her specs. But Karen didn't do nice. She thrived on control, and we were all her pawns. The guy across the street got fined for his kid's lemonade stand. Old Mrs. Jenkins was warned about her gaudy roses. We lived in fear of her neon post-it notes slapping our mailboxes with violations. Then came D-Day, driveway day. I strolled out, ready for work, only to find Karen's SUV squatting across my driveway like it owned the place. "Just a temporary measure," she chirped, clipboard in hand. "Your driveway's under review." Review? It was concrete, not a Michelin star menu. That's when I knew this wasn't a glitch. This was Karen declaring war, and I was done playing defense. Picture me, coffee gone cold, staring at Karen's SUV like it was a UFO parked on my property. I tried the polite route. "Karen, I need to get to work. Can you move it?" Her response? A laugh sharper than attack. "Not until the HOA investigates your noncompliance, Jake." Noncompliance? My driveway was as vanilla as it gets. No cracks, no oil stains, just boring cement. I called the HOA board, hoping for sanity. Their reply? "Karen's handling it." Handling it? She was holding my driveway hostage. I checked with the tow company. Big mistake. They wouldn't touch it, citing HOA agreements. Meanwhile, Karen strutted by daily, sipping her latte, flashing a grin that screamed, "Checkmate." Then the fine started. First, it was failure to maintain driveway accessibility. Accessibility? She was the roadblock. Next, a notice for aesthetic disruption because my trap car was unsightly. Every mailbox check brought a new letter, each one bolder, demanding hundreds in penalties. Neighbors peeked from their blinds, whispering, "Poor Jake." One guy slipped me a beer and muttered, "She got me last year over my flagpole." I was trapped, couldn't tow her. Couldn't argue without more fines. Couldn't even park on the street without her citing overnight violations. It wasn't just annoying, it was personal. Karen wasn't enforcing rules. She was flexing her crown, daring me to bow. Late one night, staring at that SUV glowing under a street lamp, I snapped, not with rage but clarity. Yelling wouldn't win this. Begging was out. If Karen wanted to play queen, I'd build a castle. Not a metaphorical one, a real, in-your-face, Moat and Drawbridge castle. Karen thought she'd cage me. She was about to meet a guy who fights dirty with permits. This is where the gloves came off, or rather, the shovels came out. I wasn't about to stoop to Karen's level with yelling matches or tire-slashing nonsense. No, I'd beat her at her own game, rules. I turned my dining room into a war room, piling up zoning codes. HOA bylaws, and city ordinances like I was prepping for the bar exam. After 3 nights and too many energy drinks, I struck gold, a tiny clause in the municipal code. Temporary structures for property protection were fair game on private land. No HOA veto needed. A moat, a legit medieval moat around my driveway, with a drawbridge to seal the deal. Was it crazy? Sure. Was it going to make Karen's head explode? You bet. I pictured her SUV stranded like a dragon in a swamp, her smugness drowning in mud. But this wasn't just about her. It was about every neighbor she'd bullied, every fine she'd slapped on us for breathing wrong. This moat was for all of us. I call my buddy Mike, a contractor with a grin as big as his excavator. A moat, Jake? Like knights and castles moat? I nodded. He laughed so hard he spilled his soda, but sign on anyway. We pulled permits, shockingly easy when you call it a drainage feature, and rented gear. I even roped in Mrs. Jenkins, the Rose Lady, to spread the word. Give her hell, Jake, she whispered, handing me a cookie. Karen kept up her siege. More fines landed, obstructing HOA oversight, translation, ignoring her. She even taped a neon note to my door. Cease resistance or face penalties. Resistance? Lady, I was just warming up. The neighborhood buzzed. Half thought I'd lost it. Half were rooting for me. My group chat with Mike and a few others, dubbed Operation Moat, pinged nonstop with memes of Karen as a cartoon villain. By the time we broke ground, I felt like a general plotting D-Day. Karen thought she'd won by boxing me in. She had no clue I was about to redraw the battlefield with a 6-foot trench and a dream. Construction day was pure chaos, a glorious, muddy circus. The excavator roared like a T-Rex, tearing up my front yard, while neighbors gawked like they'd stumbled onto a reality show. Kids ditched their bikes to watch, and Mr. Rodriguez, the beer guy, set up a tailgate with chips and salsa. Go get her, Jake, he cheered, raising a can. By noon, a 4-foot-deep, 8-foot-wide moat circled my driveway, Karen's SUV trapped dead center like a trophy in a glass case. Then came the drawbridge, a beast of oak and steel, rigged with a hand-cranked pulley Mike swore could lift a Buick. It wasn't pretty, but when I cranked it up, blocking all access, the crowd hooped like we just scored a touchdown. Karen arrived mid-afternoon, her face a storm cloud. She'd been at Pilates, or whatever tyrants do, oblivious until now. What is this? She shrieked, heels sinking into the dirt. I leaned on a shovel, channeling every cowboy movie I'd ever seen. Just securing my property, Karen. Got the permits right here. I waved a folder, grinning. Her eyes bugged out. You can't trap my car. This is vandalism. I shrugged. Your car's on my land. Want to move it? Lower the bridge yourself. Oh, wait, you can't. The crowd snickered. Karen's jaw worked like a fish out of water, no comeback ready. For once, she was speechless, and it felt like Christmas. Word spread faster than gossip at a PDA meeting. By evening, neighbors were snapping selfies with the moat, kids were sketching it in chalk, and our group chat blew up with Moat Man memes. Karen's SUV became a monument to her own arrogance. And I was just getting started. She thought she'd bully me into submission? I'd built a fortress, and she was locked outside. Karen didn't roll over. She doubled down, and boy, did it get wild. She unleashed a barrage. Complaints to the city, calls to inspectors, even a petition claiming my moat was a public menace. Inspectors showed up, scratched their heads at my permits, and left with a chuckle. Creative, one muttered. Karen's screams could have shattered glass. And she got sneaky. One night, my motion lights blazed, and my security cam caught her creeping near the moat, dressed like a discount cat burglar with a crowbar. She was prying at the drawbridge's crank, muttering about fixing this nonsense. I flipped on the porch light and yelled, "Lost something, Karen?" She froze, dropped the crowbar, and bolted, tripping over a garden gnome. I saved the footage, pure gold. Next morning, I showed it to the HOA board, who were already fed up with her tantrums. "This ends now," said Linda, a board member who'd once gotten fined for her dachshund barking. But I had bigger ammo. I'd been digging, figuratively this time, into Karen's HOA records. Surprise, surprise. She'd been funneling dues into consulting fees for a company tied to her cousin. Shady? Oh yeah. The showdown hit at an emergency HOA meeting. Karen sat smug, ready to crucify me. Jake's moat violates community standards, she declared. I stood, slid my folder across the table, and let it rip. Funny you mention standards, Karen. Care to explain these $10,000 landscaping checks to a non-existent firm? The room went silent. I laid out receipts, emails, even a bank trail. Her face turned gray. Neighbors gasped. Linda grabbed the folder, eyes wide. "You're done," she said. The board voted her out on the spot. Unanimous. Karen stammered. "You'll hear from my lawyer." But nobody cared. By morning, the county was auditing her, and her SUV? Stuck until she paid a tow guy triple to drag it over a temporary ramp I graciously allowed after she begged. The final nail? That video of her crowbar fiasco leaked. Okay, maybe I shared on the neighborhood app. It went viral, dubbed Karen versus the Moat. She was finished, packing her bags as the block partied without her. With Karen gone, my moat wasn't just a trench, it was a legend. Neighbors christened my place Fort Freedom, and kids turned my driveway into a chalk art gallery of dragons and knights. The HOA? Toast. After Karen's exit, the board quit, and we voted to dissolve it. No more fines. No more neon notes, just barbecues and actual neighborly vibes. I kept the Drawbridge, now a quirky gate painted with Moat Lives Matter by some teens. The moat itself became a flower bed. Thanks to Mrs. Jenkins' green thumb, she planted roses in Karen's honor to keep her memory prickly. My grill fired up weekly, and folks stopped by to swap stories of Karen's reign, laughing like we'd survived a zombie apocalypse. The story didn't stay local. A news van rolled in, filming my drawbridge for a segment called Suburban Showdowns. TikTok exploded with hashtag Moatman clips, and I got fan mail from as far as Texas. One guy sent me a tiny shovel keychain labeled HOA Slayer. I didn't ask for fame, but I wasn't mad at it. Best of all, the neighborhood healed. Mr. Rodriguez flew his tacky flag again. Kids sold lemonade without permits. We weren't just free, we were us again, and my driveway never felt more like home. Karen's house sold to a nice couple who brought cookies, not clipboards. The saga was over, but Fort Freedom lived on. So, what's the big takeaway from this suburban epic? It's not about digging ditches or dunking on Karens, though that's fun. It's about standing your ground when someone tries to steamroll your life. I didn't beat Karen with fists or fury. I used brains, a few bucks, and a whole lot of guts. She thought rules were her weapon, but I turned them into my shield. Think about your own battles. Got a boss who micromanages? A neighbor who glares at your Halloween decor? Your moat might be a clever email, a kind but for boundary, or just saying not today. You don't need a trench to draw a line, just the nerve to hold it. This story's bigger than one driveway. It's about community, about refusing to let petty tyrants dim your spark. Karen ruled because we let her, until we didn't. What made her crumble? Not just my moat, but neighbors who finally said, enough. Together, we turned a power trip into a punchline. So, next time life parks an SUV on your dreams, what'll you do? Build a bridge? Dig a moat? Or maybe just crank up the grill and laugh? Whatever it is, make it yours and make it epic. Because sometimes, to claim your castle, you gotta get a little medieval and a whole lot creative. Alright folks, that's the saga of how I turned a driveway feud into a suburban revolution. Did you laugh? Cheer? Maybe start sketching your own moat. Drop a comment. Tell me your wildest neighbor story or what you'd build to fend off a Karen. I read every one, and I'm dying to hear your tales. If this story lit you up, smash that like button. It's like cranking my drawbridge for more epic content. Share it with your crew, your coworkers, even that nosy HOA board member. Who knows? Might save someone from a clipboard tyrant. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and tap that bell. We're building a fortress of stories, and I want you in the fight. Your support keeps this channel grilling. Every like, comment, and share fuels more underdog wins, petty revenges, and laughs that hit like a cold beer on a hot day. Got a topic you want to tackle? Throw in the comments, and I might just dig into it next. Maybe top 10 ways to outsmart your HOA, or why neighbors are secret superheroes. You tell me. Thanks for riding along today. Let's keep standing tall, laughing loud, and maybe building a moat or two when life gets messy. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep your driveway free, your burgers juicy, and your spirit unbreakable. Peace out.